Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be showing you my BetaFlight setup for the Shuriken 250 as well as a flight review at the end as well. Now a lot of people have been asking me why do I pronounce it BetaFlight when it's clearly BetaFlight, but I don't think you are getting the irony because it is just better. It is better than Clean Flight, so I'm calling it BetaFlight. In fact, I don't know why manufacturers aren't shipping all of their quadcopters with BetaFlight because it's just so much easier to tune. Even with little tuning experience, you can get really smooth results out of it. Anyway, let's go and check out, first of all, the firmware Flash. It was really simple to install BetaFlight on this quadcopter. So you need to choose the board here, and it's the SP Racing F3. And I chose 2.91, which is the current stable release. You also need to select the manual board rate to 256. And then you need to load the firmware online and flash the firmware. And if you've got all the drivers correct, then it should just flash and you should be able to connect. So I have got COM3 up here, so let's do that. So of course the first thing that you do in this scenario is calibrate the accelerometer. I'll take you into the ports there, and the UART3 is the one that you need to activate on the serial RX. We go into configuration. Quad X is set up already. I have got one shot 125 selected and disarm the motors regardless of throttle value. I've got motor stop turned off, so the motors will spin when I arm the quadcopter. Now, the values that we are interested in next is the minimum throttle. It's quite a low minimum throttle for this one at 1084. Now the maximum throttle was set at something like 1850, so I've bumped that up to 2000 to give more throttle. And that was the same in Clean Flight as well. I think it was like 1850 instead of 2000. I've got the minimum command at 1000 there. And of course we need to have the VBAT enabled so that we get that buzzer working, and also so it sends the correct number to the on-screen display. So actually you can see here that I have got the voltage scale bumped up. I noticed that it was reading incorrectly. It wasn't that it was set too low on the on-screen display. The on-screen display was set very low actually. I think it was something like 13.9 volts, which is very low. So the beeper was going off, so I checked it with my voltmeter and it needed the voltage scale bumping up to be more accurate, so I've done that. I've got the warning cell voltage at 3.5 and the max at 4.3 and the minimum at 3.3. So you're going to get a buzzer, a slow beeper going at 3.5 and then a constant buzzer at 3.3. You shouldn't really go into the constant buzzer really. So for the receiver, of course, I've got serial RX for S-Bus and S-Bus selected down here. Okay, for the gyro update frequency and PID loop frequency, I've gone with 2 kHz. I have got the failsafe turned on and black box as well, but I'm not really using those features to be honest. If we go into the failsafe tab, I have got stage 2 turned off. I don't like it, so I just keep the standard value there, and that works fine at 885. Of course, you have to set the Tyrannus up to no pulses, so I have done that. Onto the PID tuning. Now, I have tuned it a little bit, but honestly, I just put some sort of default PIDs in that I know work quite well on another quad, so everything here is 80, and we've got 45 here and 60 here. To be honest, on this tune, the D needs to go up slightly higher, probably about 65 to 70 on the roll and probably about 90 on the pitch. I'm getting a little bit of bounce back and wobble, but nothing compared to the original. I mean, it is such a transformation, as you'll see in the flight in a bit. It's just completely transforms the way that the quad feels and flies and everything. So I have boosted my rates up to 0.8. I've got the Expo at 0.6. And I also have turned off Super Expo rates as well, because I don't like that. It makes it really docile in the middle of the sticks and crazy at the edge. I like a medium sort of balance between the middle of the stick and the outside of the stick, so I have turned that off. Of course, you can check out your rates there if you like, but I really like it at this one. So the PID control that I've got is integer. And then receiver here, you need as TAER1234. And as I mentioned in the first review, there weren't any mode set up whatsoever. So I've got my arming switch there on the 2-position switch on the transmitter. Then I have set angle, horizon, and acro, because why not? I've actually turned air mode off, so that would probably help the flight characteristics a little bit, but I've been having some trouble with it. I've been noticing when air mode's turned on, that when the throttle is at 0, that the quad's been sort of lifting up off the ground. I'm not too fond of that. It seems to have been doing that recently. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, but yeah, I'm not into that, so I've actually turned air mode off. And then I've put the beeper here on an auxiliary channel, so I've added an extra switch so that if it gets lost in long grass or something like that, I can flip the beeper and I can hear where the quad is. So that's about everything. Let's go and see how it flies compared to the stock settings. So it's another crazy windy day here at the field, but that's not a problem for BetaFlight. As you will soon see, the quad already feels so much more locked in compared to the stock clean flight settings. In fact, it can't even be recognized as the same quadcopter, as I do some hesitation 4-point rolls there, some flips, and all my other maneuvers that I test when I am testing a new tune. And I have to say, I'm really happy with it. The only thing that I'm noticing is a slight wobble on the camera, and I think that is caused by wind deflection rather than a bad tune. As I do my 4-point roll there, you can see a slight wobble. As I said, it's a really windy day, and that tends to affect these vibration dampen plates. I've always found that compared to just mounting the camera on top of the quadcopter, but there's no vibrations at all, and just listen at those motors scream. It is a really nice quadcopter to fly now, just as I thought. There's just a couple of things that you'll notice. When I throttle up fully, you'll hear the beeper going off slightly, and I think that this quad is drawing quite a lot of amps. You can hear it there as I throttle off, slight beep there. Yeah, so I think it's drawing more amps than my other quadcopters, and I think that might be down to those 30 amp ESCs compared to my usual 20 amp ESCs that I use. And I think there is a little bit of inefficiency going on there. It's not too bad, but I noticed on the on-screen display quite a lot of voltage sag compared to my other quadcopters. So I'm just doing some punch outs and some flips here, and I think you are probably best putting a bigger battery on this because the flight time was just under 4 minutes. Okay, I am absolutely ragging this thing, giving full punch outs, and there's just no relaxing time at all. And yeah, the battery was really warm when I landed, but you know, I did want to put it through its paces. You can hear that beeper going off again. I would perhaps recommend a higher C battery for this quadcopter as well. This is the Luminaire battery, it's 65C, but you can get like 90C now. As I say, the battery was very warm when it landed. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think I do recommend this quadcopter. As you can see, I'm getting better distance on it because I've moved the antennas to come out the top of the body. But now you can hear my beeper going off fully. I've hit the 3.3 volts, so it's time to land. So there you go. That is my BetaFlight setup of the Shuriken 250. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.